Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello everybody and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to do a recipe for you today that my grandson asked me for. Actually, he hasn't been feeling very good, had an ear infection, and it seems to keep recurring, so they're taking care of that. But in the meantime, he asked me, he said, Grandma, would you make me some banana bread? And that's kind of a special request anyway, because I dislike bananas extensively. So for me to mess with bananas, you know I love you, Noah, because it's just one of those things I don't like. But anyway, we're going to make this moist banana bread recipe for you tonight. So in my bowl, I'm going to whisk together, I have 2 cups of flour, just all-purpose flour. And to that I'm going to add a teaspoon, my teaspoon, of baking soda. Now you want to preheat your oven to 350, and you want to make sure that the rack you're going to put this pan on is right towards the lower third or 2/3 of the oven, so that the top of the banana bread doesn't burn so easily. So I have a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And if you want a little more flavor, you can add just a little more than 1/2 teaspoon. I just usually heap the teaspoon up just a little bit. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna whisk that together a little bit just to get that all combined. And then I'm going to set this bowl aside and go to the wet ingredients. Okay, so in my other bowl, using my mixer, I'm going to mix a 1/2 cup of soft butter, just at room temperature. And you can use salted butter. If you do though, I would probably omit that 1/4 teaspoon of salt that we put in that dry mixture. So unsalted unless you want to decrease that salt. And then to that, I'm gonna add a cup of brown sugar. Now, if you don't like a sweet banana bread, you can actually add a little bit less. So I'm going to cream these together for about 2 minutes until it's smooth and creamy. Okay. Now I'm going to add 2 eggs, one at a time, so I'm going to beat between each addition of egg. There's one. Mix that in. Now you want your eggs to be at room temperature just so they beat up a little nicer. And there's 2. Now, the next thing that goes in, you can use yogurt if you want to watch the fat content a little bit more, or you can use sour cream, and I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. And just like with cakes, that yogurt or sour cream will make your banana bread more moist or give it a better texture. Okay, I'm going to add that. I don't have to mix it yet if my hand mixer would stand up. And then I'm going to add about 2 cups, and I used my masher. I'm going to add about 2 cups of mashed bananas, and that equals about 4 bananas. Oh, this is the part I dislike most, but I love you. Okay. And I'm going to add, and that third cup of sour cream, just like the eggs, should be at room temperature. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix this on low. I'm sure it smells delightful if you like vanilla. It's got a nice smooth texture to it. Okay. Now slowly I'm going to add my flour mixture and mix on low speed like I said. I just don't want to over mix. So I'm going to do it in about 30. So your oven rack, like I said, should be on the lower part of your oven. Lower third to 2/3, just so the top won't burn. The last of it. And you want to spray your loaf pan. Now, if you use a metal loaf pan, that's probably a little bit better for how it makes the texture of or the browning of the bread. But I don't use metal loaf pans very often, unless they're my small loaves. So I'm using it's still a darker color, my glass loaf pan. Okay. If you want chopped walnuts or chopped pecans, you can add those into your batter as well. I would just stir them in at this point. Get all that off there. Normally I'd say get all that goodness off there, and then I'm going to dump this into my loaf pan. Okay. Slap it on the counter. Okay, so that's ready to go in that 350-degree oven, and I will take that out when it's done. And really, it takes 60 to 65 minutes. Again, it depends on your oven and the pan you're using. And then I want to check it every 5 minutes or so towards the end of that baking time. I'm going to let it cool in the pan for about an hour, and then I can actually remove it from the pan so it won't stick as badly. So in the oven for an hour or a little bit more, check it every 5 minutes. That lasts 55, 60 minutes. And then leave it in the pan for an hour to cool, and then you can invert it and take it out of the pan, slice it and serve it. Morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm going to show you a recipe that my husband says is good, and I trust his opinion, and I'm gonna have to trust his and other people's because it's Nana's banana pudding, and I've made it several times and everybody seems to really like it. I just don't like bananas. So anyway, so what you're gonna start with is you need 8 ounces of cream cheese, which I have in my bowl. You need a can of sweetened condensed milk, which I have right here. You need a large package of instant vanilla pudding, or the family size, and 3 cups of cold milk, a teaspoon of vanilla, set that on that, some Cool Whip, and it calls for 8 ounces, but I normally use a little bit more than that, so if it would be better to buy a 16-ounce container of it, and 4 bananas sliced, and then a package of vanilla wafers. Now, I only put part of the package in the bottom of my 9x13 pan. So you can see, and you don't have to be fancy with it because it's going to be covered up with other things, and then you get some in each bite of the banana pudding. And what I don't use, I reserve that, and I crush those up, and then I'll sprinkle that on top. Okay, so I've got, like I said, I've got my cream cheese in my bowl, and I'm going to beat that up just enough so the other ingredients will incorporate. And I will add, get that to stand, my sweetened condensed milk. Oh, I bought bananas to make one of my grandson's banana bread that he asked for, so while I was getting those, I thought I'll get this out of the way too and do a couple of banana things. And we don't keep bananas around very much. My husband likes them some, but like I said, I don't care for them. Okay, so then I'm also going to add that vanilla pudding. 3 cups of cold milk. And a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to mix that up until it starts to thicken. Everything's mixed together. Stop it just for a minute and get some of that cream cheese off the sides. Okay, I'm going to let that set for just a minute. And while that's sitting, I'm going to add the bananas to my Noma wafers. So you just want to take your 4 bananas and slice those up right over the top of your wafers. I don't even like the smell of bananas. I don't know why I passed on the dislike of bananas to some of my children too. I didn't do it intentionally, but I think most of our grandkids like bananas. Two. Again, you don't have to arrange them in any. When I had culinary students, they would try to make this all look so pretty underneath, and then nobody would ever see it. One more. These are pretty good sized bananas that I got. I've seen some that aren't quite so nice. Okay, now that pudding mixture is going to go right over the top of this. But first, I want to take my spatula and take a half a container of Cool Whip and get it open and fold that into the pudding mixture. So I'm just going to take half of this. Mix it in. Mess. And dump this right over the top of my banana layer. this will have to be refrigerated after we get it all put together. And we're gonna let it sit until we come home from church. And then it'll be ready to go. Now all we have left, and this is why I like to use more than just an 8-ounce container of Cool Whip, because we're going to put that over the top of the pudding layer. And I just don't think the remainder of one is enough, so I like to use another one. I've always had people tell me, well, just eat the pudding part of it. Don't eat into the bananas. But when you don't like something, you can taste it even if you're not, if it's in something, even if you're not eating it. So see, I used almost half of that container as well. So I think a 16 ounce is really a better call. At least that's what I'd rather use. Okay. Now my crushed vanilla wafers go over the top of this just to kind of decorate. Let everybody know there's some more down below. And we'll throw this in the fridge, and it is all done. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.